Dr. Sachs. How are you? First, we'd like to congratulate you on behalf of the Summit Medical Group Foundation for being one of our Vision and Legacy honorees.
Well, I was surprised and honored. Thank you.
What made you become interested in a career in medicine?
When I was a junior in high school, my next door neighbor was chief of pathology at Johns Hopkins, and he said, "What are you doing this summer?" I had no idea, so he said, "Why don't you come work in my department?" And he got me a job doing research, going down to the clinics, getting specimens, learning how to be a cytology technician, and I just thought the whole thing was very interesting. I think that's what really prompted me to do so.
You joined Summit Medical Group about 40 years ago. I don't know if you remember this, but here's the letter. It says, "Dr. Sachs was with me as a cardiology fellow for 2 years. He was excellent and should be a superb addition to your staff. Gregory was well liked. He was competent and energetic. I recommend him highly. Sincerely, J. Willis Hurst, MD." And this was from 1973, and was your recommendation letter.
Willis Hurst actually was the author of the textbook for cardiology, and he was the head of the program at the time.
So what made you decide to join Summit Medical Group?
I was a cardiology fellow at Emory. Emory is run by the Emory Clinic, just like Mayo Clinic. And so I got to see how a multi-specialty group worked with a common medical record. Then a fellow who I had worked with at Emory called me up and said, "Gee, I've heard about this, multi-specialty group outside New York. Didn't you live in that area when you were younger? Yeah. Do you think we ought to look into it?"
I also found in your file a letter that says, "I'm happy to inform you that at a meeting of the group held on June 10th, 1975, you were unanimously elected to the status of shareholder employee at the Summit Medical Group." So that was exactly 40 years ago.
Right.
What's changed?
It was $1 then, and it's still $1 now.
That is true. It is. It is $1.
Obviously, both the size of the group in terms of the number of people practicing, that's the visible outside things. I'd say internally, it was the conversion to an electronic record. And if you were starting from scratch, of course you would start with an electronic record. But the group had 50 years worth of records on people.
Can you talk about this a little bit?
This, by chance, I inherited. In those days, they would even make it for you, put your name right on it itself, right there.
Yeah.
And there were some EKGs when I was a medical student around in hospitals that still looked a little like this. I think this is probably around 70 years old, if I was going to make a guess.
Do you have patients that came to the group before you even came here and have just continued to see the group?
Oh, I have many of those, yeah. Even just last Friday, I saw a lady she had recently had her 90th birthday, and she told me she had been delivered by Dr. Bensley at Overlook, so that was 90 years ago, and she's obviously been a steady customer of the group ever since.
Dr. Sachs, what inspires you?
Well, obviously, the direct satisfaction you get from taking care of patients is a big portion of satisfaction. The second is being surrounded by staff, partners, nurses, physician assistants, all who are just extremely capable people, very responsible, hardworking, and the like. That's inspiring. And my family's inspiring, both my wife, who was the daughter of a surgeon in the medical group, back in the 30s and 40s, and my 3 children, none of whom have gone into medicine, but who've been very successful, and to me that's an inspiration as well.
What would you tell the future generation about pursuing a career in medicine? What advice would you have for them?
I certainly encourage people who are interested in it, to do it. If they work hard, they'll make a good living and have a very enjoyable life.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sachs. I'd also like to congratulate you again for being the Summit Medical Group Foundation's 2014 Vision and Legacy Honoree.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the work that the foundation's going to evolve into in the years to come. So thank you.